Hello, folks, and welcome. Welcome to Just Folks Conversations with Emma. I'm Emma, and I'm so glad to be here today. I have another wonderful, wonderful guest. This young lady is someone you are really going to want to talk to and refer to all of your friends. Her name is Peagan Twitty, and Peagan is a life coach. I met her a few years ago. She attends the same church that I attend, One God, One Thought Center for Better Living in Baltimore, Maryland. And fascinating is just a mild description of the kinds of talents and gifts that she brings to the table. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Peagan. Hi, Peagan.
Hi everybody. My name is Peagan Twitty, and as Ms. Emma said, that I am a life coach. I got into doing life coach probably 8 years ago, but the thing is, I never really actually used it because it's like one of those things you tell people like, what exactly is a life coach? There's so many different people out there who have that title as life coach, but mine consists of a little bit of spiritual and everything else in between. So for me, I use spiritual principles with my life coach. I went to a school in Virginia actually that I actually got my certifications from to start, and we use biblical principles, allowing people to kind of show up however they show up without judging, no spiritual background, whether you're Buddhist, Muslim, it really does not matter, but it's a matter of caring for people God's way that's what the title was for the class that I took. And so in doing that, you're going to deal with people from all walks of life, all different sexuality types. Everybody's coming to you with one goal in mind, and that's to kind of help guide them to living their full and best life. And that's really what I aspired to do. I actually had a spiritual life coach myself, which is one reason why I thought it was so helpful, because they're not therapists. Let me just quote that. If you need therapy, you need to go see a licensed therapist or a licensed psychiatrist. Make sure I let you know that.
Mm-hmm. And that's a really good point. That's a good distinction. What is the difference?
Okay, with the life coaches, let's say we're basically kind of outlining what you want to do with your life. Let's say you have a certain goal in mind. You might want to be preparing for maybe a job change, and you want to know how to make that transition. On the other hand, I'm going to help you with finding the right resources to make that a smooth transition for you. We're going to figure out what your skills are, outline everything, and kind of create a plan that's catered to what you need. This is catered to what you're seeking and what you're looking for specifically. So it's not just like something I'm just kind of throwing together. Unlike, like I said, with a licensed therapist, it's kind of different. They're able to, give you certain tools that you would use to kind of help work out what's going on with you mentally. Me, on the other hand, I'm trying to give you guidelines to help guide your life, to get you on the right path, the right steps. So if you're making a career change, we're going to start looking at resources to help you move in that direction. Let's say you want to improve on your relationships. We can work on that as well, but the relationship starts with you. First, the focus is really getting you together and functioning on how you want to live. And I apologize, my dog is now in the picture. So I want to tell everyone.
Wonderful.
And this is another thing, animals can be helpful as well. So if you have pets are also a good way for therapy. Sandra, I'm gonna try to pull her into the picture since she's decided to join me. Animals can give unconditional love. And that's the thing about animals, no matter what you do to them, discipline and such, they can still give you unconditional love. And Sandra is supposed to be getting trained to be a therapy dog. What she's supposed to be doing is emotionally support animals. Sometimes you have people who need, you need certain tools to help you navigate life, and animals are a good way to take your focus off of things that are going on and give you something that you can give your attention to. For me, on the other hand, I work better when I have someone to care for, and Sandra provides me that outlet for me to take my focus off what's going on so much and not focus on so much of the thoughts, but more so on the animal who needs love. She needs, you know, to be treated kindly. And then she gives you that little look on her face, and then you just know that this is what, you know, this is what you need. This is what you need. To just provide you with unconditional love. And as a life coach, for me, I like to give people guidance. I'm not trying to force you into changing. It's more of a gradual thing. I'll give you tools. We'll talk about doing meditation, spiritual things that you can do. What are some self-care techniques that you do? Find things that you really enjoy. Like for me, music is one. Music and exercise. I love exercise. And if you know anything about exercise, exercise releases a certain pheromone for helping you to feel better. It gives you that chemical feeling of a euphoric feeling. So you feel good when you exercise. There's a lot of things that you can do. Reading depends on what your self-care look like. I take care of my personal appearance, getting my hair done, getting my nails done. All of this is also a part of life coaching because I want to make sure that you take care of yourself. That's a big part of life coaching, is making sure you're doing things to care for you. Sometimes people do things because they're trying to get in a relationship, or they have all kinds of different needs and things that they're looking for. But usually the first focus I want to start with is about you. Getting enough sleep, making sure you're eating the right things, because they've already found out that certain foods can change certain moods. So I mean, there are all sorts of things that can kind of give you a difference and help you with navigating your life. So,
well, you have a big overview. I mean, you have covered a lot of territory. I mean, that's a real total consideration of the person who's coming to you. Yes. How did you get started, and what drew you to this field?
For one, I want to say, because I wanted somebody, because life is a lot. There's just so many things that you have to deal with on a daily basis as human beings. And sometimes you need some guidance. Like, you might not know exactly where you want to go in your life. You may be looking for just somebody to kind of help you figure out how to drop 10 pounds. And maybe the fitness coaches you had didn't help you, or you weren't able to navigate that. So a life coach can kind of come in and say, all right, we're going to create a plan for you to help you navigate on how to lose these 10 pounds. And we're going to work with your fitness level. We're going to work with your health level. We're going to do all the basics, and we're going to start from the inside out. So first of all, your cat. You're going to start with what we already know about you is, okay, you said you want to lose a set amount of weight. What are you doing mentally to prepare yourself to lose that weight? Are you seeing yourself thin? Are you looking at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, God, I'm just so fat and I'm still not losing any of this weight? Like, what is the conversation that you're having with yourself as a person who's coming to me to get help to lose whatever weight or however you want to see yourself currently right now? And then my plan is to sit down and we're going to say, okay, we're going to exercise 3 days a week. And we're going to do different things here. We're going to do, we might do fitness, we do weight training. We're just, working on just you lifting the weights. So we might do cardio. It all depends. And then we may have some things that I want to do meditation, because I want your mind to be clear when you're exercising. I want you to have a clear understanding of, okay, I'm not just coming to this person, just lose from that. This is a mind, body, soul, and spirit type of thing. We're doing everything.
Mm-hmm. You're very holistic in your approach.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I still don't know. How did you get to this point?
How did I get to it?
Yes. What made
because
you?
I had some healing moments myself that I needed to do, which was I need to get some focus on myself. My weight goals were I was losing weight, and I needed to find out what was triggering the thoughts that I was having, because I was having some mental thoughts that were not aligning with what I wanted, which was had some negative beliefs. So I started with a spiritual life coach, and I still have her information, a spiritual life coach that would work with me, and we would talk about, like, I had, it was more like a child. I had some things that my inner child, I had some inner child work that I had to do. So when I started working on myself to get healthier, this individual she's a spiritual life coach. She studied under Ayala Van Zant, went to school for her, went to her classes and did all kinds of training, and she was really good at it. So I decided to do the spiritual life coach program through the inner child, and I was working on myself. And then I started to do the negative talk, and I associated a lot of how my body showed up was because of the things that I was telling myself and what was going on in my childhood. So I started to dig a little deeper. What was my conversation like with my mom? What was the conversation like when I was growing up, or who was I around to give me these thoughts? And then one by one, as I started to dissect these different thoughts, I noticed certain experiences were tied to that. And what I had to do is change how I looked at these experiences, or looked at them, found a different perspective in how to what was that experience and why it showed up that way. And in doing so, I was able to rewrite certain experiences that I had and help me figure out a way to move through those things.
So really the genesis of all of this was the fact you were actually working on yourself.
Yes.
And
yes.
From that, you discovered that you had a talent and a gift actually for helping other people.
Yes. Yes. That's
And
exactly how it happened.
The skills to go along with them.
Yes. And it was wonderful. I liked everything that she did, because nobody ever thinks about the inner child. Like, what? Inner child work? What does that mean? And that's what I asked. I said, what does that mean? I had to go back into thinking about stuff that happened to me when I was 10. I might not can remember that. She said, not necessarily, but you always remember an experience tied to something that happened at a certain age. And I noticed, I said, okay. And then what was triggering for you? And what was the thing that showed up for you? And usually the thing that shows up is not something that just, it happens once. It may show up several different times. And it's just like, okay. And when I learned that the experience was something that may have been painful for me, I said, okay, I need to work on this. What is that experience that I have that's associated with keeping me stuck? Like I'm not moving beyond this point. I'm stagnant. And so she said, okay, we need to work on that. Whatever that is, we need to go in and clear up that. If it's that thought where you say you're not good enough, or somebody told you this somewhere in your experience to make you feel this way. So what was it? Who told you that you couldn't do this, Peagan? I said, okay. Did your mother tell you that? Did your father tell you that? And I said, no, my dad didn't tell me that. So obviously it must have been something that I heard from someone. Maybe it was a teacher. Maybe it was another friend of mine. It's just one of those things. I said, okay, I got to dig a little deeper to see why this keeps showing up this way. And what was the experience that I had that made me say, oh, okay, I can't do this. Well, I'm not good enough to do this. Or why can't I look like this? And why? There's all kinds of reasons. So I had to kind of do a lot of self-work into loving myself beyond a certain point. Because only, your mind, everything starts in your mind. Everything starts there. And once you can once you start convincing yourself that these things are true, they'll keep showing up. And so we had gotten to a process. She wanted me to write things down. And I read the book, The Year of Yes. I don't know if you're familiar with, yes, the young lady who created the Grey's Anatomy series.
Yes, Sandra. I can't remember her last name, but yeah,
yes,
she's got a whole
it's on my head.
Chandra Rhimes.
Yeah, Sandra Rhimes. And she made me read that book. She made me go through it and follow the steps and the Year of Yes. And she said, okay, I want you to do this. You might not do it for a year. I at least want you to do it for 6 months. I said, 6 months? Oof. And of course, that's the first thing you focus on. I got to do this for 6 months. I got to work through this stuff. She said, yeah, I want you to go through this and I want you to do it. And she said, however long it takes you to do it in this process, but I'm going to give you 6 months to work through each of these steps. Because she said, I want to see you really committed. I can't give you a few weeks. She said, nothing happens in a few weeks. I need you to be intentional about this. So I said, okay. I drew into myself and she said, all right, do you feel better? Take a breath. That's what she used to tell me. Take a breath and relax. She said, you're getting tightness in your chest from just me saying the 6 months. And I was just like, yeah. And she said, that's all you're focusing on. So I need you to just say, okay, and during this process, you're going to be working on yourself to be better. And that's what you want to show up as. You're working towards your higher self, the best version of yourself. You say we're going to start with the limiting beliefs, start with the negative self-talk, all the things that you keep saying. You're just going to start saying yes to things. Because usually you say no to a function. Oh, I can't do this. Or, oh, I can't do that. What if you really took the time and thought about it? Can you really, do you really not have the time, or you just don't want to? Which one is it? And I thought about it. I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I just don't want to. Why? Why is it that you just don't want to? What is the reason behind it? If there's really no reason, then why can't you go out and hang with your friends? Or why can't you make time for your family members, or whatever the reason is? He's just trying to get me to get to the point where I'm saying yes to these things, yes to the function with my friends. And I noticed when I started saying yes to things, I was a lot happier. It wasn't this, okay, yeah, I want to work on myself. Yeah, I want to be intentional about this. Yes, I'm going to really go to the gym. So I started to go to the gym. Guess what happened? I started to see results. When I started doing the meditation, I felt better. I was able to sleep better at night. What was the reason behind doing these little steps and making sure that I journal or I write down things to, how my day is going, talking about things, just getting them out. Even if you had a tough day, she said, write that down. Because everything is just you're just kind of, you're releasing things throughout the day. She even gave me a spiritual bath to use. I did a spiritual baths where I'm actually,
What is that?
Follow with me. I'm going to take you to my bathroom.
Okay.
So I have some things. I apologize if it's a little dark in here, but I'm going to see if I can get this for you. So this stuff is what she told me, and it's also made by Ayala. I don't know if I can kind of show you, but what it is, it's a spiritual bath. And what it says is, it's for energy cleansing and clearing. So if you're trying to clear, you just went through a breakup, or you're going through some financial things, this is going to help clear all that energy. And it actually tells you how to use it. And it's handmade by Ayala herself. So she makes this stuff. And what it does is, it's like something that you do for, let's say, a certain amount of days. Do it for maybe 4 or 5 days. You want to do this. And the other one is the peace. So okay. You want to clear everything.
Like a ritual of some sort.
Yes, it's like
personal.
But it's personal. It's like practices that you would be doing. So this is a sweet attraction. So what the sweet attraction is, after you've done the clearing, now you want to, it's kind of like you're doing a vision board. So now that you've cleared out all the things that you want, now you want to do the things that you really want to attract. So you want to attract healthier relationships. This is what you do. You take your shower, and as you're in the shower and you're in your bath, you're speaking the things that you want to come into fruition. And you're writing these things down. Because in the scripture, it tells you write a vision and make it plain. So that way that, this is how you want to bring the vision about. And then you put this in your hand. So if you want money to flow to you, this is the thing that you want to say. I want money to flow to me freely and easily, and however it shows up, divine spirit. And then there's a whole, I wanted to say, do I still have it? There's like a whole little thing that you would say. There's like a step, which I don't think I have the sticky in front of me now, but there's a whole process that you would actually read to do it. So when you're releasing and when you're attracting. And me, on the other hand, I would do these I did this for like 3 weeks straight, because I wanted to really be intentional about what I wanted to release. I wanted to release, not releasing the person, but releasing the emotions tied to that experience with this person. Not trying to throw the whole person away. You're just trying to release the experiences that you had, the emotion behind what you experienced with the person. If you still want to send the person out in love, but you want to release them in a good way.
And is this part of your coaching, your life coaching as well?
Yes.
You share these techniques with your clients.
Spiritual baths, yes. And I researched all the stuff that you need to get, because you can make your own spiritual bath. You don't necessarily have to buy these products. I did this because it was easier for me, just to tell people, okay, you can go here and order this stuff and get it. And I do believe she still makes that stuff. Ayala, I do believe she still makes this stuff because she makes it all by hand, and it smells really, really good. It smells good, and it makes you feel good too. So, a spiritual cleansing and washing away all that old stuff, and then bringing in and opening yourself up for the new stuff. So that's kind of the process.
Okay, and your life coaching is really based in spiritual principles. So I would imagine then that everything that you do has to have some sort of foundation to it. Are you able to articulate those for people that you work with, so that they understand, so they can do that for themselves as well?
Yes. Usually what I like to do is, like, I'll send out little worksheets and things for that, like, that you can kind of go along. Like, I'll actually send you a worksheet that you can kind of follow. Like, there are things that you will be able to do, and I'll work with you. It's kind of like a guided sheet. It's like a little guide, and we'll kind of go through different things, and I'll say, okay, here's what I do for my spiritual practice. But I'm not sure, because not everybody is, I'm not religious. I am spiritual. So I would tell them, like, okay, what is your spiritual practice, if you do have any spiritual practices, and how to incorporate them into what I'm teaching them or what I'm giving them as far as coaching.
Though? How's that different from being religious? What's different?
Well, religious wise, I want to say, people usually tell you, okay, here's a scripture that you can read, and then you go off and you pray, and then they leave you to your own devices, sort of, kind of speak. But I don't really do the whole, like I said, I don't do the whole religious part of it, which is basically just giving you a bunch of Bible scriptures and then telling you to pray about it. That's not really I know scriptures that I can give you, but that's not what I do. Mine is going to be something you can understand. I will break things down for you and say, okay, what are you saying to yourself spiritually? That people say, okay, well, I want to attract money, but yet I might be looking at it, well, all I ever see is people asking for money, or they're begging, or they're broke, and the only thing you read in the Bible is the scriptures where, okay, this is this, and I'm asking God, I'm begging God, or I'm pleading with God to give me something. Well, in my spiritual practice, you have to do some work. You just can't pray and then expect the sky is going to fall open and money just going to fly into you. There has to be something that you have to do in order to create what you're looking for. Like, if you're saying, I want more money, well, what exactly are you doing to create that more money? Do you have like a business plan or something that you want to do? Is there a certain job that you're trying to apply for? Maybe you need me to help you get your resume together so you can apply for that job. And then I point you into the right direction of the resources to get you that. Maybe I know somebody who does resumes. Maybe you're saying, Peagan, I need to lose weight, but I don't have time to cook all the time, to make all these special meals. Okay, that's fine. I know someone who prepares the meals for you, but you'd have to pick them up. I have somebody who cooks the meals and prepares everything. And I've used her services before, so I know she's great. And guess what? She's in Baltimore. And she's a mom. So she can help you with all of these things. Whatever you're looking for, whether it's losing weight, all of it. There's some kind of tool that I have for you to help get you in that direction.
So you really have a lot of resources available.
Yes, and that's what I like to use. I like to use my resources, especially if I have personal resources that I've used for myself. I usually like to try stuff myself to let people know that it actually works. Like the clearing bath, that was helpful. When I broke up with my girlfriend, I used that a lot. I definitely did a lot of clearing because I wanted to clear those emotions tied to that breakup. The hurt, the pain, the not feeling good enough, the this, the that. All of this stuff came from me having a life coach. I wouldn't have known anything about any of these resources had I not used it. Or having Reiki work done. I know somebody who does Reiki, clearing your energy, because that's important too.
Okay, and for those who don't know what Reiki is, how would you describe that?
I would say it was like a kind of like a spiritual cleansing, where you're in this experience, you're sitting down and you're kind of allowing this person to kind of, it's almost like you're taking sage and then you're like clearing out the energy around you, and they're kind of just using, well, I know this is what my experience was when I went to the young lady that I went to for Reiki. She used, feathers and sage, and she, kind of meditated me into this this place and she just told me to get still. It was like getting really, really quiet and still. And I'm not worrying about any outer noise. It's just me and my oneness with my creator. And we just kind of getting into this place of quietness. And whatever emotions that need to come up, allowing those emotions to come up, but I'm not really giving them any energy, whether they're good or however you want to describe it, good or bad. You're just kind of allowing these things to come up. And whatever you need to you're just releasing these things. And she said, you're just letting it kind of flow out. Mm-hmm.
This is not a hands-on experience, and there's no touching involved with Reiki.
No,
Okay.
she's not touching
No
me.
contact.
No, she's not touching me. No touching me. It's more of a just like she's kind of blowing this. You can feel the feather kind of go over you, but you're not being touched. And like they have their hands. She had her hand like hovering over my body, but she's not really touching me because she didn't want to get into my aura or anything like that. So it's just more so of, I'm creating a safe space for you to just allow this stuff, whatever is coming up, or whatever that's hindering you or blocking you, to leave. And and this is just you're clearing. You're just basically another form of clearing. I've gone to shamans too, so I've done a lot of work. I had to, and when you're, if I could get really deep here and just get a little deep, when you're intimate with people, sexually intimate with people, you share energy, and sometimes that energy is not always good. That energy kind of lingers, and I wanted to cut off the energy that I felt was still flowing from this relationship that I had. And so she was allowing me to do that as well. I went to the shaman to have the energy, the soul ties that was created from me and this person cut. And what I had to do is I had to visualize that cord being cut. And the work that I was doing was it was basically called cord cutting. That's exactly what it was called, cord cutting, because you're cutting the ties of this relationship, because it's basically like carrying dead weight. You're just carrying all this weight with you in this energy that you shared with this person. So I had to have that energy cut. I didn't want to be a part of this person's energy anymore. I wanted to have that gone. So I went through the following steps to do it. And that's one reason why I was led into doing life coaching. I said, this is a lot. This is a lot of stuff you have to do to cleanse yourself. It was necessary for me. Because you know how many people that you carry with you, especially intimately, that you share, because you're sharing something so important, your body. You're sharing your vessel with people. And that to me was a big deal, especially when I found out the connections that you create with people when you're intimate with them. So that's one thing that I offer to my clients as well. Again, it's another resource. I have resources for everything. I'm grateful for all the experiences that I had, because it's given me lots of resources to give to clients when I tell them about coaching. And mind you, this stuff, like I said, this is not something that you have to take in lightly. You have to be serious about this. That's one reason why some people they think of life coach and they're like, it's going to be like, I got to pay for this. I got to do this. If you want to get clear of all this stuff, yes, you're going to have to do, like I said, it's work. Like Reverend Burnett said, it's work. It works if you work it. You have to do work. And that's one part of.
I'm sorry, you're referencing Reverend Burnett L. Jones of the One God, One Thought Center for Better Living. Okay, that's in Baltimore.
Absolutely. Yes. One God, one thought. The principle, she tells you it works if you work it. So basically, it only works if you're willing to do the work. You only get in what you put out. And that's what I realized about all of it. When I got my life coach, I was only going to get what I put in. If I wasn't going to put in 100%, I wasn't going to get anything out of it. And I realized I had to really be intentional about the work that I had to do, because we, like I said, as human beings, we go through so many things and we have so many different experiences. And some of these things can linger with us and they carry over. Like, you ever been in a relationship with somebody and then it looks like you're in the same relationship you just got out of 2 years ago? Why? Because there's some things in there that you didn't recognize that was showing up that you didn't get clear the first time. So what do? They just manifest in another person. And you're dealing with the same human being all over again, but just a different face. It just keeps going and going and going. And see, me, I just didn't want to keep repeating the same habits. I wanted to change those habits, and I wanted to be intentional about it. So that's what I started working on, tools, and I started doing the, like I said, the working with a spiritual life coach to work on myself, working on myself. It had nothing to do with anybody else. It's just cleansing me. And so that's what usually like I said, as a life coach, I start with, I'm only dealing with you. I'm not worried about anybody else. This is just for you. And one of our members, Deborah and Ricks, we talked about the Ho'oponopono prayer, which I don't know if I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, or some people are familiar with it. That was one of the tools I also used as like my mantra.
Okay,
That was
let's
something
talk
that
about what that is. It's a Hawaiian prayer.
Yes.
And
yes.
would you just recite it so our listeners and viewers?
Sure. So the Ho'oponopono prayer, I would say this: I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I would say these 4 things to myself every morning. I would say these things to myself before I would go to bed. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And the point of me saying these things is, if you know what the Hawaiian prayer means, it means to make right again. So in saying that, I was saying to the parts of me that I wasn't so loving to, whether it was something that happened in my childhood or something that happened when I was a teenager, no matter where it was, I was just telling these things. Look, I love you. I'm sorry you had this experience. Thank you for showing up, or however you showed up and manifested, to say, hey, I need your attention, and I'm sending it off. I'm wishing it well in a loving, caring way. I'm just telling these parts of me that I'm not giving that much attention to. Maybe it's my inner child. Maybe it's a 6-year-old pagan that's saying, hey, you didn't love me enough today. Maybe she needs a little bit more attention. So I'm saying, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me for not acknowledging you. And then thank you. Thank you for telling me that I need to pay more attention to what your needs are. And that was my mantra that I did on a daily basis. And I shared it with Deborah and some of the things that she was dealing with. And it was able to kind of help give her some guidance on certain things to bring her to a place where she was at peace.
Well,
because I reminded her. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a powerful prayer. It really is. And there's a story behind it.
Yes.
Do you know about that with the
Dr. Hugh Lin? Dr.
Yes.
Hugh Lin, yes. I know about the patients that he was treating. Yes.
Share the story.
So Dr. Hugh Lin was getting ready to treat these patients that he considered, I guess you would say, difficult. And he really hadn't looked at really hadn't been interactive with them, but I guess he had read, looked at the charts and things and saw the behaviors. And then there was something, I guess, that showed up in him that he recognized. And he's like, whoa, hey, what is this? And he was like, all right, that, and so before he even laid eyes on these people, he started doing this, I think, spiritual prayer, if I'm not mistaken. Please help me if I'm messing it up here, because it's been a little while. But he started doing this prayer that he would do. And then he said, slowly, what began to happen is the patients that they considered difficult and couldn't be helped, they started to change, because whatever it was that he was showing up, or they kept identifying, and eventually it created a shift in them because of the energy that he changed in himself. And it was.
If I could add to that.
Yes, go ahead.
The population of patients were considered so dangerous that he could not go to see them initially. And the staff was under great pressure because they were being physically abused from people who were considered absolutely dangerous. I won't say criminally insane, but that was the impression that you got. I don't know if that's even a legal term, or maybe just legal, but certainly not medical. But he said that not having seen these patients for 6 months, in praying this prayer over each folder, each chart, the intensity of the behaviors began to shift, and he knew that something was happening when the staff stopped leaving, because people could not stay. The
Yes, they
pressure
were
was so
leaving.
intense,
Yes.
they could not manage. It was just too much for them. But the
Right.
staff began to settle in, and within a 6-month period, the behaviors and the hostilities and the stressors had diminished to such an extent that the staff stabilized.
Yes.
They eventually closed the ward.
Yes.
Yeah. From that prayer. Yeah.
Yes.
So that is a very powerful prayer, and it does point out the nature of belief and energy, that and that we have control over it.
Yes.
We don't often acknowledge how much power that each of us has on an individual basis, but we do have it. I mean, even if you believe you can't do something, that's powerful, because you're stopping yourself.
Indeed. Right.
And when you believe that you can, that too is a very powerful demonstration of how you shift energy by making things happen. Yeah,
that's true.
And that's what I've observed in you. And I can say that because, I've seen you over a number of years, and your entry into OGOT was at a stage where you were, having some stress, some difficulties, and you were fairly vocal about that. And to see the transformation as you have worked through your difficulties, I wouldn't even call them difficulties, I'd say your situations and experiences, is really remarkable. And I'm really happy to see that you have chosen life coaching as a career choice, because you have so much to bring to people who are in need.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
I want to ask you a very important question.
Okay.
And that is, how do people get in touch with you?
Okay, so right now, I'm still working on a little bit of trying to get that back. I had a website that I had created for people to reach me. I have a YouTube channel right now, and I haven't really posted anything on it just yet, but that was one goal that I had for this year. I was going to be intentional about setting up my my YouTube channel so that people could actually reach me. Right now, you can reach me through my email, which I'll give you here, which is Peagan Twitty. It's my name, peagantwitty@gmail.com. You can email me, and then I'll give you the link to my YouTube channel, and then we could like talk and like really get into it. Because right now it's more of it's a public YouTube channel, but I'm sure as I talk to people, I'll figure out how we can navigate that to really incorporate some of the questions that they might want to ask me, and they can do it on my YouTube channel. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm getting my YouTube channel together.
I can also post it in the description, and your name is spelled Peagan.
Yes.
GAN.
Yes.
TWITTY at gmail.com.
Yes, that's it.
And as personable as you are, I'm hoping, I won't say that. I'm not a business person. Let me put that out there right away. Okay. And most folks who know me will say, yep, this is true. Okay. But I say, anyone who talks to you on an individual basis will be assured of the most professional and supportive relationship, and real guidance, because you're speaking from personal experience, and you're speaking from your heart, and you have integrity. So
yes, I do.
Folks really do need to talk to you, and I'm very, very comfortable in recommending you to anyone who would like to further their life goals and have issues and concerns that they'd like to really address. You're an excellent listener. And,
thank you.
Very empathetic. And you've got resources, as you've demonstrated.
Yes, I have lots of resources, and that's the best part about it. I'm not just giving you resources that I haven't used myself. These people are really good at what they do, especially the life coach that I know the spiritual life coach that I went to. She was really great. She's not in this area. She's actually out in Mexico is where she is, but I know she does a lot of, obviously she can do virtual things with you. I'll get all her information, of course, if you guys would like to use her. Like I said, I use resources because I want to make sure that the stuff works. I don't want to just set people up for failure without giving them anything, because that's the one thing I learned about being at One God, One Thought. There are people there that care, and they try to do the best that they can and give you the right resources to make sure that you get what you need. So that's what I would like to do as well, just to make sure that you guys have everything that you need. So if you need somebody to help you with a diet plan, I have someone for that. If you need someone to help you with building your credit, I have someone for that. If you need Reiki, I have someone for that. I have a lot of resources for a lot of different things, and I've used pretty much all of these resources just because I want to make sure that everyone has the best, you have the best resources, you know, so you can get to your highest and best good. Because at the end of the day, that's all that I really want. I want what's best for you. I want you to live your absolute best life. So that's important. It's imperative. We all live, our life should not be lived to be struggling with anything. So there are people out there who can help you and give you guidance. So that's my plan, to help people get guidance, to have the resources that they need, and to make a difference. So yes, that's the plan.
Well, that is absolutely wonderful goal for you. It's wonderful for us. And
Thank you.
I'm certain that folks, after they watch and listen, because we're going to
Thank you.
podcast this as well as put it
Okay.
on YouTube,
All right.
they'll be well, they won't be calling, but they certainly will be emailing you. And
Yes.
I'll have the link so they can follow.
And they can also, if they do decide to call me, I do have another number that they can call me on. It's not the number that you have, Miss Emma, but it is another number that they can reach me, which I will give them right now. Let me go to that and I'll make sure I give you that. 1 second here, ladies and gentlemen. My other number here. I have so many different numbers. You can reach me at this number. So I apologize when I'm trying to get all my little stuff together here. This would have been helpful 5 minutes ago. So, yes. And there it is, 410-259-6674. So if you want to, you can call me on that, or you can text me. This is a number that is textable, and it does have, I can do FaceTime on it. So if you want to FaceTime me, you can do that as well. But that is a number that you can reach me, 410-259. I don't call this number often, so yes, you can reach me on this number, 6674. So that is a number that you can call me on. If you want to talk with me, I'll talk with you. I have time to talk with you. We can kind of go over some things, and we can get started. It's all about up to you. That's whatever your choice is. I'm here to support you. So that's the way for you to reach me. So you can reach me by email and by phone.
Okay, and both of those will be posted with the description.
Yes. And as
Okay,
my dog is jumping up on me, so I apologize, Sandra. Yeah, she's jumping up on me right now. She's saying, "Mommy, I need some attention." So yes.
Well, and Sandra is a rescue dog. So
yes, and this is my rescue dog, Sandra, who is, as you can see, she's just all in my face. Here she is. She's a rescue that I got. So she had a little bit of trauma, so she needs a little love. So that's what I'm here for, to give her some love. Yes. So
and that's a wonderful thing, because what you give out, you get back.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Yes.
Well, my dear, thank you so very much. This has been a wonderful conversation. You Likewise. Are one of those people on the planet that really make it a better place. And thank you for your time and your services, and sharing your gifts, and sharing your story as well.
Oh, no problem. I'm so glad. I'm so happy that I could share it with you guys, and I hope it helps someone. So like I said, it always helps. You know, you don't have to do this life alone. You can have somebody to help you on this journey with you, to help guide you. I know I wouldn't be on this journey and be where I am without wonderful people like Miss Emma Brody. So thank you so much. You have been so sweet. So I appreciate everything that you have done for me. All your love and support has helped me tremendously. So thank you.
You're an easy person to love. That's why we all love you. You know, everyone who meets you falls in love with you, and there's a reason for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. And I'm looking forward to our next conversation.
Yes.
And you and I we'll be chatting it up a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. So I can look forward to it. So thank
All
you.
righty. Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you.
See
All
you
right.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.